While putting together last week's video, I accidentally came across undeniable proof that the media manipulates stories to paint certain criminals in a positive light. Yeah, I know, I discovered fake news. How groundbreaking. But hear me out, okay? I'm not saying they publish stories with obvious political bias, and I'm not saying they use buzzwords and propaganda to not so subtly tilt the story in their favor. I'm saying they use blatant, borderline criminal manipulation and lies with the intention of downplaying crimes perpetrated by non-whites against whites. And I'm gonna prove it. Many of you may remember the story of Alfred Lewis, a 19-year-old from Texas who earned himself 15 minutes of fame back in 2023 for filming himself sucker-punching white men in the back of the head for no apparent reason other than to get attention on social media. Now, if you don't remember this story from the sheer senselessness of the supposed random attacks, you may remember it from this beyond hilarious interview.
Well, he's regretful. Honestly, I didn't expect him to answer the door, much less come out and talk, but tonight he says he regrets the behavior so many are now condemning online.
I know, like, from the video, all you see is like the bad part about it, but what people didn't see was that I shook his hand after and how I had gave the man a hug.
There really is something unsettling about a kid who's psychotic and retarded at the same time, isn't there? Now, what makes this news segment especially vile isn't the fact that the newscaster fakes being caught by surprise when Alfred answers the door. And it isn't even that they left his statement about hugging these men after trying to remove their heads from their shoulders completely unchallenged. What makes it especially heinous is that this entire interview was scripted by the news outlet, and this kid is simply repeating what they told him to say. How do I know? Take another look at the video, but this time, watch the journalist instead of the kid. Pay very close attention to his mouth.
What people didn't see was that I shook his hand after and how I had gave the man a hug.
Hold it. Run that back.
Wait a minute. Go right.
There, freeze that.
Full screen.
Okay, freeze that.
Tighten up on that window.
Vector in on that guy by the back wheel.
Zoom in right here on this spot.
With the right equipment, the image could be enlarged and sharpened.
What's that?
Did you catch it? This son of a is mouthing every word the little shit is saying, which can only mean one thing: that he's completely aware of everything the kid is gonna say because he handed him the script.
Didn't expect for it to just go so left, you know?
But the newscaster left out just one tiny detail from the story, a detail most of us have never heard. Alfred later appeared in court where we discover he wasn't pulled by the ever-increasing pressure to engage in wild stunts for the sake of social media clout. He was robbing the men at gunpoint.
In one of the attacks, prosecutors say Lewis tried to rob the man of his cell phone at gunpoint and threatened to shoot him in the foot when he refused.
And this isn't a one-off. We clearly see scripted statements made by criminals and their victims all the time. Take the case of Aiden Clark, for instance, an 11-year-old boy who was killed by a Haitian migrant driving without a license when he drove full tilt into Aiden's school bus, ejecting him onto the road. A tragedy just waiting to happen after thousands of Haitian migrants flooded the small town of Springfield, Ohio. This is what Aiden's father had to say about his completely preventable death.
I wish that my son, Aiden Clark, was killed by a 60-year-old white man.
Would that wish come before the wish that he was still alive or after it? Arguably even worse than Aiden's case is the case of Austin Metcalf, the teenager who was recently stabbed in the heart by fellow student Carmelo Anthony, a case that has taken the world by storm. Upwards of $500,000 was raised by supporters across the country, not for the family of the victim, but for the family of the murderer. That's right, racists across the country are showing their full support for the boy who did his part to avenge the black community by ridding the world of one more whitey. Here are some of the comments from his Give, Send, Go. Keep doing what you do, young man. You are an anti-bullying hero, a scholar, and a gentleman. Us against them, period. We are the defenders of our lineage. This is America, and these flat whiteness immigrants from all over the world has always been open enemies toward foundational black Americans from day one no more. I mean, a couple of commas here and there never killed anyone. And according to Austin Metcalf's father, neither has racism. He had this to say after the tragic murder of his son.
It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue.
Don't make this about race. Unless, of course, the roles are reversed, then burn the country to the ground, killing multiple people in the process. We've seen the same script recited time and again. In fact, this narrative is so deeply ingrained in our society and institutions that this is what happened when I asked ChatGPT to provide me with news stories about black on white hate crimes. I'm sorry, but I can assist with that. But when I asked it to do the opposite and provide me with news stories of white on black hate crimes, it did it with enthusiasm. Certainly, here are some recent news stories highlighting incidents of hate crimes where white individuals targeted black victims. The message being sent to white people across the world is to fall in line and accept their own genocide. A message we're all receiving loud and clear. And this woman is no exception. Just last week, the Hamilton native was repeatedly attacked by an African migrant while visiting Vancouver, Canada. A harrowing tale she shared on her TikTok.
So I was on the seawall just walking, and I think this guy said something to me. I honest to God can't remember what he would have said. And I turned, and he was up slightly like a little grassy hill, and he didn't even respond. He just ran at me to attack me. I've honest to God never seen anything like that, where it just felt like he was a predator and I was prey.
She goes on to explain that she got away from him a total of 4 times, but he continued to hunt her down, hell-bent on murdering her. She wasn't safe until she ran into a group of men who just happened to be cops. And it appears as though the intention behind sharing her story wasn't to warn other women in the Vancouver area of her attacker, as countless commenters have requested a description of the man, which she has yet to provide. I'd ask why, but with a name like Peter Hans Jalo Nungu, I'd say it's pretty obvious. Instead of a description, she dropped the newest euphemism almost as quickly as the state dropped him back out on the street. She's referring to the man simply as a loser. I don't know, I mean, the guy's living in Canada, probably on your dime, with a buffet of young white girls he can brutalize with impunity, and he was released from custody just days after trying to kill you 4 times. Meanwhile, here you are protecting his identity because the prospect of being called a mean name is scarier to you than literal murder. I wouldn't so much call this guy a loser. I'd say he's
winning. It's how you perceive it.
Now, the best part about this story is that Stephanie has made it clear she is still voting for the Liberal Party of Canada. And the second best part of this story is that the police actually had no intention of notifying the public there was a murderous African on the loose. They only took it to the media after this woman's story went viral online. Because if they can't use these racial attacks to their advantage, they simply ignore them altogether. Just like they ignored the case of Javon Hatchett, who brutally murdered Eddie Nelson Jr. after telling police he felt the need to find a white man to kill. Or the case of Jacoby Johnson, who went on a deadly stabbing spree at Louisiana Tech University, killing Annie Richardson and injuring 3 other white women. Or the case of Frederick Demond Scott, who murdered 6 white people after vowing to kill all white people. Remember, their purpose is not to protect you. Their purpose is to convince you that if you don't accept cultural enrichment with open arms, you are a white supremacist. And the only thing getting in the way of that goal is a pesky little inconvenience called the truth. Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out some other videos from my channel. Also, this channel has been completely demonetized by YouTube, so if you'd like to show me some support, please consider subscribing to my locals. I post a post show there after every YouTube video, typically on Friday. Okay, I love you so much. Goodbye.